You're listening to Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast. Two friends since before helping each other plan their engagements, now dads reliving the Disney movies we grew up on with our own kids. I'm JB Waggoner.
And I'm Eddie Ferguson. And on today's episode, we wonder if it was Anne Hathaway who started the early 2000s female archery craze as we review The Princess Diaries 2, The Royal Engagement. But first, JB, how are you doing?
Getting just enough sleep, just the amount that I need to survive, and to kind of sort of thrive a little bit. So it's been good. Every baby's different, and what is specific about our newest child is I have to hold her with her legs tucked up against my chest, but out from me, perpendicular, with her head in my arms, almost like I'm cradling a catch of a football.
Yeah.
And I have to hold her like that sometimes, perpendicular, just to get her to stop screaming at me when she's awake. And she doesn't necessarily want to walk around a ton. She doesn't want like a lot of movement. Just the football hold with her legs kind of squished up into her chest a little bit. And that is what she likes. So earlier tonight I had the duty of like kind of helping get her all situated and trying to get her feeling better so that she could potentially take a little bit of a nap. And I came into the bedroom, she was yelling at me. So I just like sat there perfectly still. And my wife came in and was like, "Do you want some help?" I'm like, "If I move, she will scream. So I'm just going to sit here." And I tried lowering her down so where my arms could lay on my, nope. Gotta raise it back up. So that's my arms feel like they're permanently stuck like this, of just like arms out, like I'm praying or catching a football. So that is where life is.
I remember that with each kid. I remember that with each kid where you have to go through that trial and error process of like, what's going to work for this kid. And, you try and remember, okay, what did the first like? Okay. Oh yeah, it was this. Try it. Nope. That's not going to work. Okay. What was the second one? Nope. That's not going to work. And for me, it was a little bit of defeat each time. 'Cause it's like, I have to come up with something different. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. The previous ones, they were vertical. They just wanted to be up. Like you couldn't lay them on their side. Nope. They had to be up, looking around at the world. It was just, so this one is different. It's like, okay, I guess you want to be out like this. This is odd, but whatever.
And I'm assuming you're getting a little bit of some headphone time watching something to stay alert, because you've already given me one recommendation.
Oh, I've been binge watching a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Which
it's the only way to get through.
I don't even necessarily need it to be on headphones. Like she's kind of okay.
Whoa,
with
good
noises,
for her.
Whatever. Like it doesn't necessarily need to be purely quiet. She can kind of sleep a lot of places. So I just turn on something. If she is in a state of hysteria of like just constantly unhappy, then I have to turn on, like normally I'm watching like The West Wing or something of that level where I can pay attention and watch and keeps me engaged. But if she's going crazy and I'm having to walk around and try different holds and stuff like that, I need to have something on that I don't care if I can't see it for like a minute and then come back to it. So that's when I turn on like a Michael Bay film. That's the perfect Michael Bay time. If I can't, it's either West Wing or Michael Bay. The two things kind of back and forth between the two things.
And even though you have seen it how many times, you still have to give West Wing your full attention.
Yeah, I can't just like not pay attention to it. That's foolishness.
It demands our attention.
But enough about me. That's enough talking about me and my family. Eddie, did you see the new trailer that dropped just recently for the brand new film coming out this November or fall time, I believe, from Disney Animation called Wish? Did you see the trailer?
Yeah, I did. This is the classic. Disney likes to have an animated feature over the Thanksgiving holiday. This is what's going to fill that. And they released, I think this is the first like full length trailer. Like we've had like teasers or whatnot beforehand.
We haven't had much.
for CinemaCon, which I have to just say, a side note, I was excited to see that. A lot of other big studios had kind of exclusive trailers for CinemaCon. I think they're trying to make nice again with all the cinema owners, and maybe we'll see kind of a strong theatrical release prioritized going forward here. I don't know.
One can only wish.
I see what you did there. I see what you did. What do you think of the trailer? This is our first kind of glimpse at the art style, the story a little bit.
It's very different. Evidently, they are trying to mix 3D and hand-drawn to some degree, or make it feel like it's hand-drawn. I don't know that I was a huge fan of the style myself. I found it kind of flat, which is maybe that's what they were going for. But what did you think?
It's so crazy that you say this, because you sent me the trailer, I watched it, and I immediately started typing those exact words to you. I typed it all out. I was about to send, and I went, no.
Content.
We hold this. We don't. So I like deleted it off. But that's exactly what my feeling was. I was like, what is this weird animation style? It looks out of focus. Does that make sense? Like the whole thing.
It's got a hint of cell shading to it.
Yeah.
But overall, it just feels kind of like honestly, Eddie, it kind of felt like some of the bad Christian 3D films, like cartoon animated films, where I'm just like, y'all, this is low budget. That's how it felt. It felt low budget.
It was Torchbearers for me. Which we watched with the kids. I love it. Torchbearers is a series of animation of like the life story of several different missionaries and stuff. We watch it, but at the same time, as I watch it with the kids, I'm always like, oh, this is such horrible animation. Like, and that's exactly what I thought of Wish. I'm going, this is kind of Torchbearers.
They didn't give me much of a reason to want to watch it. I'm not totally sure where or when it's set. Not really sure. I guess at first it seemed like everybody gets a wish, but no, maybe only she gets a wish. But then you got somebody wanting her wish. I was very skeptical. And why? And if you only get one wish, then why was the wish to make the goat talk? But she still got I was just so confused. There was nothing compelling to me in this story so far.
Yeah, we talked about this last week, and I think Disney Animation is back in a slump. I think there is an element where we're holding our breath of like, when are they going to get out of it? And this did not convince me that this would be the film to pull them out.
I will still go see it. Don't
they will
don't get
still
me
get
wrong.
my money. I will still give them my money.
You will still get the very least of my money. Yeah. But maybe a $5 matinee on a Tuesday night. Maybe we'll see. I didn't leave invigorated or thrilled. I was actually surprised at how many comments were like, "This is beautiful. These are great. This is amazing design." I'm just like, are we all watching the same thing? Are we in the same universe right now? Because this doesn't look invigorating, exciting. Like it felt flat to me after so many years of like really pushing the envelope, making beautiful things. This just wasn't it.
I still like the original like one-liner pitch. It's the whole, what was it? One of the teaser trailers that did the whole, every mention of the wishing star in all the different Disney movies, or people wishing upon stars. And like, don't you ever wonder where those wishing stars are made, or something like that? I can't remember actually how they did it. Like that core emotional idea, I still like. I'm still holding on to of like, okay, that has an idea that could go somewhere. This trailer made it take a few steps back for me, but I'm still, like always, hopeful, and will put my heart out there for them to break it all over again.
Be careful, Eddie. Be careful with your heart. Guard your heart.
But in other Disney news, this weekend we saw the release of Disney's latest live-action remake, Peter and Wendy, premiered on Disney+. JB, did you watch it?
We lined it up for our kids to watch, and they got 2 seconds in, and then my son did the thing where he's like, because we had made popcorn, he was like, and normally we share the big bowl, like the big bowl. And so he's like, Dad, I don't want the big bowl. I just want this little bowl. And he pulled out a little bowl for himself, which means he wanted to go in another room and do something else with the little bowl of popcorn. So they went away. Somebody else went away. And then I just kind of looked at my wife and was like, you know what? We haven't watched Renovations yet. Let's just turn that on instead. And so we have not gotten much. We had only gotten like a couple scenes in, and we were both like, yeah, let's just watch that instead.
So I'm a little shocked because I thought you would have given us a definitive no, to which I would have quickly retorted with an equal no, and we would have moved on quickly.
2 scenes is basically a no. Why we barely got through the credits, and then it was done.
2 scenes of a movie is like half a Idina Menzel music documentary.
Hey, there's a lot of deep scenes in that, deep cuts.
I did not watch any scenes of Peter and Wendy.
The movie nobody asked for.
The movie nobody asked for. And what's funny is even on Disney Twitter, which typically is somewhat favorable to the live action remakes, I have to say. The number one thing that I kept hearing people say was, I turned it off and went and found Hook and watched Hook instead.
Oh, that's cold.
Yeah. One person even was like, this, speaking of Hook, this is how you make a live action remake of a classic. Like, ooh, and that's 90s. But nonetheless, I have not watched it and have no intention of watching it.
A team member of mine, hearing about the new one that was coming out, wanted to describe to everybody, shout out to Michaela, she was like, there is one of the best ones that was ever made. It was the 2003 Peter Pan. She had a DVD copy of it and forced so many of us to watch it. Like went like person by person and made each one of us watch it. And like, so I bit the bullet and watched it about a month ago to honor. It looked like they took a highlighter of color to every scene. It was like bright blue, bright green, bright, like literally no joke. It looked like a highlighter was added to every scene in this thing. Jonathan Isaac, it's that adaptation of it. And once again, it is also not the movie adaptation that nobody asked for. So I'm sorry, Michaela, that I was not over the moon for your version.
Just to give Michaela a few points here, okay? And I know I say this a lot, but James Newton Howard's score for that version of Peter Pan is phenomenal. I will listen for a long time. I would listen to it, but now for whatever reason, I can't find it. It's been pulled from all streaming sites. It is so good. So good, in fact, Disney did not make that version. But the musical score from their initial flying sequence, Disney used that piece of score for 2 years for all of their marketing campaigns. Like I'll have to find a clip of it and send it to you. As soon as you hear it, you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember hearing that, because it's an incredible piece of music. And it comes from that version of Peter Pan. And the score is fantastic. So I would agree with you. The visuals and the story, all of that, could not stand it. Sorry, Michaela, but points to the score. It is a fantastic score, but it's James Newton Howard. What else do we expect? Yeah. Lastly, in the Disney news that nobody can stop talking about, and I felt like if we didn't at least acknowledge that we were aware of this, we would not be
Doing our jobs.
any bit of our jobs whatsoever. But it is all that not just only Disney fans, but pretty much everybody is talking about right now. And that is the fact that the Walt Disney Company is suing the governor of Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis.
Reedy Creek.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
I don't know how much you have tracked all of this. I have been following it with a keen interest.
Well, we talked recently about the fact that they, the whole issue with them putting it into their bylaws that they own control of the primary things all the way until what the 30th, 21 years past the last living legacy of Sir Charles or whatever. So
King Charles.
King Charles. But what is the latest, Eddie, that we're seeing? Because I've heard a lot of different things recently.
So after Disney's lawyers constructed this beautiful piece of contract law that I'm sure is now being referenced in some
of their best entertainment in years.
Yeah, and I've heard even a couple of podcasts of lawyers going over it, and they're just fawning over how well this is written by Disney's lawyers. After that came out and realized that Disney had kind of duped the state of Florida, at least the governor's office, the governor and the board that he established, pretty much was like, we're going to act like that never happened. To which everybody's like, I don't think you can do that. Like, contract law is pretty well established. And then like the legislature is saying they're going to go back and they're going to like retroactively change some aspects of the law that would prohibit this from going into place. To which everybody's kind of scratching their head going, I don't think you can do that. Like, I don't think that's a precedent. Like, we want to even get started. And then even on like live press conferences, Governor DeSantis started threatening things like, we're going to put tolls and toll everybody going into Disney World. We're going to increase the taxes on the hotels.
My favorite is putting his talking about potentially putting up a prison.
I saved that one for last.
Door.
We're gonna construct a prison.
I don't know. Maybe a correctional facility. I'm just like, bro.
So what that does, that pretty much inflames all of your Disney fans who were maybe with you, who kind of saw where you were coming from in the get-go of, fair and da-da-da-da-da. As soon as you start talking all those things, like all the Disney fans, Floridian Disney fans were like, whoa, hold on now. So Disney decides, okay. And they filed a lawsuit in federal court in Tallahassee, suing pretty much everybody. The governor, several members of the legislature, the entire new board for their special district. Like, they went full on at it. And my favorite quote that I heard from somebody was, did somebody forget to tell the governor's office they're not working with the dumb CEO anymore?
Shots fired. What I love about this story is there's I don't know if it's a business theory, whatever, called the sunk cost fallacy, where you feel like you've already put in a little bit of money or a little bit of time and energy. And even though all signs are pointing to this was a mistake, you keep doubling and tripling down on the mistake versus just cutting your losses and saying, I'm just going to move on with my life. This whole thing starts with a governor who wants who wants to run for president, has high aspirations to be the successor to Trump.
Yeah.
And decides, I'm going to rally my base because this liberal company has said made certain stances that are against his own base's ideas. And he's going to rally them by coming against them for all the different things that we hear about all the time. And it just bit him really hard the other direction. And he's continued to push harder to take control. And they've outmaneuvered him every which way on this thing. And he doesn't get it. And at this point, he is going to tank his presidential aspirations because he's still fighting with a mouse.
Yeah, because now he's got, most of the other potential Republican candidates. Now this is fodder in their cannons, and they are going after him for this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
This is just in the primaries. And that is the important thing to remember in all this. This is all ideology aside. Like, whether you agree with anything that anybody has said, at the core, you are in a tit for tat legal battle, and you are going up against. You got to remember, this is the company that convinced the Communist Party of China to give them the majority profit of a theme park in their country.
That's
that
a
they
great
had
point.
Never allowed another American company to do. These lawyers know what they're doing. Like this isn't their first rodeo. In fact, this is probably an easier rodeo for them compared to what they've gone through before.
This is nothing. Ron DeSantis is nothing compared to what they've had to experience before. They're the reasons they're the reasons that the office that controls all of why they keep on pushing back the whole public domain where properties that after the creator dies after Disney, 25 50 years, their stuff going to public domain, they continued to push it off farther and farther and farther for public use just because of Disney and Mickey Mouse, because they don't want Mickey Mouse to end up in the public domain. They've kicked the can down years and years and decades. That's the kind of power that they have. And I'm actually still surprised that it's about to run out on Mickey. I'm actually surprised about it. But anyways, continue.
That's a whole nother podcast episode if we want to get into that, like what all Disney lawyers have done in the past 15 years to set up a legal battle to prevent, even if this rolls over, they still have a strong standing to keep Mickey out of the public domain. This is why 20 years ago, who was on the Disney animation logo? Steamboat Willie. This is why you saw them revigorate the use of Mickey and all of their Disney streaming platforms and videos and stuff. You started seeing Mickey shorts before movies. You saw Mickey shorts, a primary thing on the Disney Channel. Yeah, these lawyers know what they're doing, and it'll be interesting how this plays out. Just in the last day or two, the governor's office did file a countersuit, which is pretty typical. Anytime somebody sues you give a countersuit. It pretty much just tips your hat that you're going to fight this. But yeah, it's like when are you going to realize this isn't the battle worth fighting? Like, how many times did I hear my dad say choose your battles, choose your battles. You can't fight them all. Choose your battles. Is this really the one you want to fight? Again, ideologies aside, I'm not debating the merits of your convictions. I'm just saying this is the battle you want to fight. If these are the convictions you hold, I think there's better battles to fight.
Choose your battles and voluntary tax. Some great Ed one-liners. Eddie, what's this random
Make
thing I've been hearing?
choices.
Yes, make wise choices. If you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. Eddie, what's this stuff I hear about them potentially moving Disney? Like moving Disney World.
Yeah, that's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Like what is like it's like it's not even a veiled threat because it's like not possible. Like they can't move.
It's not possible. No. You got to remember Disney World is the size of San Francisco. It has a comparable public transportation system to the city of Atlanta. Like it's incomprehensible to move. Yeah, it's just not going to happen, folks. They're not going to move Disney World. This got started because I think it was North or South Carolina, I can't remember, sent an invitation to Disney World saying, hey, if you're tired of Florida, like you can move here. And that's the thing. Like what you might see is Disney kind of go, okay, if you're going to make this really hard for us, then we'll stop investing there. Like you'll see us develop Disneyland more. I think in general, you're going to see there's going to be a third domestic park in the next decade or two. Disney has wanted to do it for the longest time. They almost did it in Virginia in the 90s. But there's no way you move Disney World. That's unimaginable. It's not going to happen. And that's what's crazy about all of this. Disney is the largest employer in all of Florida. It is the largest single site employer in the entire United States. Like, it's massive. Like, it's just, what is going on here? It's crazy. It's the largest single site employer. It's not the largest employer, single site employer. But it is the largest employer in the whole state of Florida. So yeah, it's not going to happen. People can joke about it. It's the same thing where people joke that the castle can like lower into the ground for a hurricane. It's like, there's not much ground to go down into in Florida. Yeah. Like you go too far, you hit the ocean.
Yeah. So much battle.
I don't get it.
So much drama. Who even?
I don't. Choose your battles. Choose your battles.
That should be the tag for the end of this episode. It's just choose your battles. I think that's great. Well, that's it. That's all for the Disney news that we have for you this week. As we prepare to do one of our final films of 2004, I believe. Am I right on this? I don't know that this is our final film, but we're getting pretty close to the end to get to our last year as we go from the movies from 1988 to 2005, aka our childhood. We still got a couple more after this, but today's episode that movie we're covering is The Princess Diaries 2 Royal Engagement.
Cue the Disney sound effect.
Okay, the IMDb description for The Princess Diaries 2 The Royal Engagement is this. Now settled in Genovia, Princess Mia faces a new revelation. She is being primed for an arranged marriage to an English suitor. I don't know if we needed now settled, whatever, but you know what? It's good. It's good. It's good, Eddie. It's okay. I don't have any problems with it. But anyways, Eddie, what was this a regular watch in your home? Did you watch this with your sister all the time when she would come home from college? Like what was the story behind this for you?
No. I can't remember the first time I saw this. I want to say that I saw it fairly close to its initial release, but I do not have strong memories of it. I think Sarah summed it up well when I said, hey, I'm going to go watch The Princess Diaries 2. And she said, not as good as the first one.
Ooh.
Granted,
that is the first one we gave 5 gummy worms. So
5. Yeah.
It is a high bar to reach that amount. My wife's only comment to me right before I got on was, "Am I going to be disappointed in your review of this film?"
Oh,
she's like, "Am I going to be sad by your review?" So I was laughing a little bit.
Is she a fan?
Yeah, so most of the films on our list that we've gone through, she did not care at all. But this was the one where she was like, "Oh, I want to watch it with you when you watch it." So she was excited about it. She had fond memories. There was a group of women at my office that are also very interested in our review of this. They're watching with bated breath right now, I believe, wherever they're at, somewhere in the world. But anyway, so I didn't remember this at all. I had no memories of it. No, like,
oh, really?
Like the original one. Yeah. Lots of memories, lots of one-liners and moments from it. But this one, I think I maybe watched it once. So I don't have didn't have a lot going into it other than, okay, this is the next one. What was your reaction to it, Eddie?
I think this is overall a pretty good movie. I think, especially to follow up, I would agree. I don't think it's as strong as the very first one. But I don't know if you could. Like, the first one is such lightning in a bottle. It's an incredible movie. This one, I got to say, first of all, I'm very impressed by the cast. It's great to see, kind of your core people come back from the first one. But I loved the addition of John Rhys-Davies. I can get behind any movie where John Rhys-Davies is the bad guy, let alone, just in it. No, he's not Hagrid.
John Rhys-Davies?
Robbie Coltrane Coltrane is Hagrid.
I can't believe I did that. Can't believe I did
John
that.
Rhys-Davies is
Gimli. Yep.
Gimli.
Lord of the Rings. Same thing. Same thing.
Oh! You just lost your nerd card on that one.
I mean, I still got the tattoo on my arm, so you can't take it completely away from me.
I'm going to chalk that up to sleep deprivation and the fact that you have a newborn.
Sleep deprivation.
I will give that one to you. So I enjoyed that. And I got to say, I don't know. Yeah, this is Chris Pine's film debut. This is his very first movie.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Babyface Chris Pine in this movie.
And he's great. I think he does a fantastic job. And I think him and Anne Hathaway have they have better chemistry than the romance in the first one.
Oh, goodness. Yes.
Got to give him that. So yeah, like, you just see some really high caliber actors at their best here. Maybe, yeah, the script is at moments, I feel like a Disney Channel original movie.
I would
the
second
DCOM.
that. Yeah, I would second that.
The 21st birthday party. Some of the moments of the slumber party are like that. And then you got Julie Andrews to sing.
Yes. That was money.
And
I don't know how much money they paid her to do that.
You have to remember, folks, like, I can't remember when it was. If I can scroll here quickly and find it, I will. She had to have throat surgery, and I want to say in the late 80s. Yeah. In the late 80s, early 90s, she had throat surgery, and the surgeon accidentally slipped and cut pieces of her vocal cords, which is like international tragedy. In repairing it, she lost almost all of her singing range. No. So that is why even in this, as she sings, it's a very a meek singing. Like, she's, it would look like she's holding back, but that's actually about the limits of her range. And because of that, because it was such a tragedy for her, because let's be honest, she had one of the greatest singing voices like humanity had ever seen. Like, the octave range that she demonstrates in Sound of Music alone is incredible. She refused to sing ever again. This is the only thing you see her sing in. So it was huge that they got her to do this, even in the capacity that it was. And it's a sweet moment. It's a really wonderful moment in the movie. I enjoy it deeply.
I thought you were going to bring up the carpet ride, the mattress ride.
The mattress ride is a little like girly cheesy until she surfs down it. And then you're like, what can't Julie Andrews make 10 times better just with her presence?
So what I initially was like, man, they got a good body double for this. And then my wife looked it up. She actually did that stunt herself.
She did it.
At what, 70? Is that how old she is during the filming of this? I bet.
At time of filming, yeah, I would say she would have been in her 70s.
Wow. That's incredible. I wrote down a lot of one-liners from this film. I think that was some of the best, the funny, catchy one-liners throughout this thing, I think is probably what was the best for me, other than just Anne Hathaway and Julie Andrews. Thank you, culinary people. There's just so many random. Oh, the Prince William. Why is he? If he's not eligible, why is he in these pictures? I just like to look at him. It's like Queen. A princess never chases a chicken.
Yes.
I have diplomatic immunity in 46 countries, including Puerto Rico. You can't wave with your thumb in your mouth. I can wave with the other hand. There's just like a lot of great moments. Perfect. The score, that was something my wife called out. We get Kelly Clarkson breakaway in this.
You stole it. Yep. This is written by Avril Lavigne. A lot of people don't know that.
What?
Yes, it was going to be on Avril Lavigne's debut album, but she gave it to Kelly. And it's odd that song has such a brief appearance in the movie. And then you get like all of these other random songs, and it's not even like the credit track at the end.
Yeah.
And it's such a great song by one of the greatest artists of all time.
I loved Bridget and Brigitta.
Yes.
The ladies' maids that are constantly traveling her around. We get Raven Simone for 2 scenes or something like that. Not really sure why they shoehorned her into this because she doesn't have a consequential moment really in the film. But I did like seeing most of the characters back, but the best was like how they wrote out Michael out of this entire movie, where they're just like, oh wait, instead of having this random emo kid in a band, we can have a guy like Chris Pine. Okay, well, what are we going to do? Oh, we'll just write him out. We're just friends now, as he goes off to tour with his band. And let me just say this, that whole opening sequence, 100% was written and added after they got into the cutting room. 100%, because they never show her face. It is all body double. It's 100% her getting on the plane, her with her friends, like showing up to the place. Like it's all body double. Like she is not, like Anne Hathaway is not in any of these sequences, which makes me like 99% sure that they wrote this in after the fact. And they're like, well, we don't want to pay for her to come all the way out to shoot all these things. So you know what, let's just put a body double and have her do voiceover for everything.
I was just going to point out 2 more things. First of all, I think it's very interesting that the film's writer is Shonda Rhimes.
What?
Of Grey's Anatomy. Yes. So this movie was written by Shonda Rhimes. This was one of her early things that she did, who's now gone on to be arguably one of the most like financially successful like TV showrunners and for ABC. Like she's done several shows. The most famous of all, of course, is Grey's Anatomy. But yeah, this was one of her earliest projects, is that she did this movie. We just got to point out, we did dig on it a little bit. It's not as good as the first one, but you got to remember they made this movie for $45 million and it grossed over $135 million.
Wow.
So from just a financials, which is really all that people care about, this movie was highly successful. So much so that a sequel, a third, has been in the talks pretty much ever since this came out. And just last November 15th, Disney revealed that they were moving forward with a third Princess Diaries film. No one has been confirmed being a part of it. That being said, both Anne Hathaway and Julie Andrews have both said publicly multiple times they are ready, game. They are there if they want to do a third Princess Diaries film. So we'll see.
I feel like I just saw Anne Hathaway dodging the question of whether it was happening or not in a good way, in a like, can't confirm, can't say anything, dancing around it at like a red carpet or something like that, where it was like, oh, this is 100% happening. This is 100% going to be happening.
You got to remember, like, Disney needs money right now, right? Like, they just need to know that their movies are going to go out there and make money. And this is a franchise that would do that. Like, both are endearing to its fan base. And its fan base is our age, right? Like, we now are the ones that have money to go see these types of movies in the theaters. So, yeah, I would love to see it. Now's the time to do it. Because God bless her soul, like, Julie Andrews ain't getting any younger. Like, and you don't have a Princess Diaries film without Julie Andrews. Let me just put any of that to rest. You have to have both of them. You have to have Julie Andrews and you have to have Anne Hathaway. Both phenomenal. If you get Chris Pine back for it, come on, let's do it.
Their chemistry is what makes these films. The two of them, apart from anything else, Chris Pine brought a nice little thing to it. But I think what was lacking for me in this film was I did miss her interactions with her friend. Like we lost that piece of it. We lost the what was so magical about the first one is her really feeling like a high school kid with all the angst, all the anxiety, all the fears, all the worries. They made her look and sound and feel like a kind of loser kid at school. I think those were some of the things that I wanted more of, but that I loved from the first film. But obviously, getting her and Julie Andrews together, all of those things were magical. Their moments together on screen. Some of the things that I also wanted to kind of pull out from here, the Irish or Scottish was an Irish like reporter that was like the tabloid reporter that's following them around all the time. My favorite line from her is, after years of boring royals, we should have brought in an American a long time ago. Like that bringing in an American is how they got all the drama. Love to see Stan Lee randomly in this film for like in the foyer area.
Why does he get a cameo in a non-Marvel movie, let alone Princess Diaries 2?
I know.
Crazy.
King Rupert, may he rest in peace. King Rupert, may he rest in peace. Like, having that as just a random aside. I do wonder, where is Genovia? Because there's like Austria and Irish and all of these random country like connections, and the town looks like you're in Austria, like it's something from The Sound of Music. It was just kind of funny.
No, it's interesting that you bring that up, because you bring that up and then you also couldn't place the reporter's accent. If you notice, like, they're constantly changing. It's more British. Oh no, this time it's French. Oh no, this time it's German with a little bit of an Austrian flair. Like, yeah, like they're trying to be an ambiguous European country, like a Luxembourg, like one of these small kind of small countries that are sandwiched in there in the middle. And I'm trying to think of one. There is one, and I can't find it out. There is one where I'm like, I think this is what they're basing it off of. Yes. Andorra. Andorra is a small country smashed between Spain and France. And I have a feeling like they're kind of basing it off of that, or like a Monaco or something like that. But it's obviously fictitious. One of these very small nation states in Europe. But they do it so crazily. Like, there's so many different accents in just this one little country that they pretty much just kind of let anything go wild and crazy. Because you have like Chris Pine, who grew up there, who's got an obvious American accent. You know, John Rhys Davies with a British accent, the reporter with a Scottish accent, and then they speak French with a whole bunch of people in the movie. It's like, just pick one and go with it. You're kind of confusing me a little bit.
Yeah, that was kind of silly, but so is this random Genovian country. Eddie, any final words that you got about this film?
No, I would say that it's an enjoyable movie. There are a few little just kind of decom moments that are a little cringy for me that I gotta fast forward through. But overall, a pretty solid film.
So what are you going to rate this?
I'm kind of oscillating a little bit, but I think I'm going to land with like a 2.5. Like just right down the middle. Definitely going to watch it again, but I don't think it's going to be one that I go to frequently. I'm going to say 2.5.
I'm right there with you. 2.5. I was in and out watching the film, paying attention, not paying attention. There was definitely some cringe, like acting moments, and I missed some of those elements, like I said before, that made it very special. Very much like, oh, this is a real girl with this out of world experience, fish out of water experience. But overall, the one-liners, the moments with Anne Hathaway obviously carries this film with Julie Andrews.
Yes.
I think that kept it from bottoming out where it could have, but I'm going to give it a 2.5 as well, much to my wife's probably chagrin. But anyways, and with that, your life has been forever changed by another episode of Honey, We Made a Disney Podcast.
Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your other favorite podcasts. And while you are there, please, come on, give us a 5-star review and share it with your best friend.
You can also check us out at honeywemade.com, where you can see our full movie list as we continue to go through all of Disney's movies from 1988 to 2005, including next week when we review The Incredibles.
Thank you for listening, and just remember, a very cute moose will make all the boy mooses go, wah!